Live, I'm Brock Burgee, along with Chief Meteorologist Nick Jansen. We welcome you in early tonight, Nick. Potential for some severe weather. What's it looking like out there right now?
That's right. We still have a tornado watch in effect for some portions of northern Iowa here. So that does include Cerro Gordo County for Mason City. So a lot of areas right along Highway 18 still under that tornado watch until 7 p.m. here tonight. I will say our overall severe threat is fairly low at this point in time. Temperatures are starting to drop, and really in southern Minnesota, I don't think we'll see strong to severe thunderstorms, maybe just your ordinary thunderstorms. That's pretty much what we've had most of the day today. Where we sit at right now, the strongest cluster of storms down near into Houston, Albuquerque County, starting to push east of the Mississippi River, getting into, say, northwestern Illinois, southwestern Wisconsin. We do have some lightning right along the river, right along I-90 towards about La Crosse. Keeping an eye on a cluster of cells that are starting to develop just off to the west of I-35. They've had the history, at least the cells that are close to the low, of producing some tornadoes, so we'll keep an eye on those. But as those start to move farther to the northwest of I-90, they lose that energy from the heat and the humidity that we have farther to the south. The main line of thunderstorms, as expected, well down to our south, is starting to race close to the Mississippi River towards about Davenport. We do have a confirmed tornado in southeastern Iowa, near Burlington, Iowa, of a confirmed tornado reaching the ground. We'll see. Notice all this clearing back off to the west here of that secondary line. We'll see if there's any more redevelopment later on tonight. Right now, just some wet roadways here across the region. We have some light rain in Rochester, and we can even see some peaks of sunshine, 50 outside. Wind breezy out of the north-northeast, and we actually had a peak wind gust, not associated with a thunderstorm, of 58 miles per hour at the airport. That was just after 3:30 this afternoon. So some strong wind. That's why we have that wind advisory in effect until 7 o'clock here tonight. We might actually have temperatures warm a couple degrees through the rest of the evening, and we'll have some chances for some isolated scattered showers and thunderstorms. Our overall severe threat is lower, I would say, Brock, through the rest of the evening here tonight. So we're tracking still a threat for maybe some thunderstorms in northern Iowa, and then some cooler temperatures on the way. We could have some overnight lows the next couple nights, maybe getting down into the 20s. So we'll track that out coming up in your full forecast.
All right, we appreciate the update, Nick. Thank you so much for all your coverage here this afternoon. A rally at the Capitol today brought dozens of Minnesotans to St. Paul, all to ask lawmakers to pass 2 new gun bills this year. Moms Demand Action and a handful of legislatures made their case. KTTC's Quinn Gorham reports.
Mandatory reporting of lost and stolen firearms and safe gun storage. Those are 2 policies that Moms Demand Action is advocating for here in Minnesota this year. The nationwide advocacy group met at the Minnesota State Capitol earlier on Tuesday, and after a successful push for gun control laws last year, they're back for more. Last year, Moms Demand Action helped champion new laws for extreme risk protection orders and for universal background checks. Tuesday, they met with senators from around the state, splitting into groups from different districts to make their case. While Republicans have traditionally been opposed to gun legislation, the group intends to push Republican lawmakers to back those 2 new bills. Speakers at Tuesday's rally believe the legislation is a common sense measure that will cut down on gun deaths and maintain Second Amendment rights.
Rates of unintentional shootings by children were 34% lower in states with laws that hold gun owners accountable when children do gain access to an unsecured gun compared to states without those laws.
Moms Demand Action were joined by 3 DFL lawmakers, St. Paul Mayor Melvin Carter and First Lady Gwen Walz during their rally in the Rotunda. Inside the legislature, it appears these bills are headed for a floor vote very soon. It's unclear what the fate of those bills will be, but it's likely the fate will be decided in the Minnesota Senate, where the DFL holds just a 1-vote majority. As for the Republican caucus, it's unclear what stance they have on the 2 bills, but they did give it a decent amount of pushback during a committee hearing on them last month. Reporting in St. Paul, I'm Quinn Gorham.
The DFL holds just one vote majority in the Senate, and if any DFL senators are against the legislation, it could put the bills in jeopardy. Last year's gun control legislation saw a few last-minute holdouts, but eventually passed. The U.S. Justice Department is planning to file an antitrust lawsuit against Live Nation. That is according to the Wall Street Journal, citing people familiar with this matter. Live Nation, which is the parent company of Ticketmaster, has faced issues in the past over its dominance in the ticketing industry. Critics suggest it is only able to raise ticket prices because of a lack of competition. But Live Nation claims prices are determined by the artists' teams and venues, as well as supply and demand. Lawmakers started raising questions about the company's practices since the pre-sale meltdown of Taylor Swift's Eras Tour in 2022. April is Celebrate Diversity Month, and Rochester Community and Technical College is working to promote a message of unity and inclusion. Earlier today, RCTC held a celebration called This Is Me. The event was about embracing the similarities between students and what makes each unique. Students shared their culture through clothing, games, food, and music. RCT's student engagement specialist, Alexis Fernandez, spoke on the importance of having this as an outlet for students to showcase their cultures.
I think it's super important that we have a month where we can celebrate something like that. I mean, not even just RCTC campus, but Rochester as a whole is so diverse. And so I feel like it's awesome that we have an outlet here on our campus where students can express that.
April has had the distinction of Celebrate Diversity Month dating back to 2004. The This Is Me celebration originally started from RCTC holding a fashion show with that same name. For this year, the event was changed to a celebration with a wider range of activities. Well, you could say Indiana fever is high. Fans went wild in Indianapolis last night after the Indiana Fever chose #1 draft pick Caitlin Clark in the WNBA draft. Emily Lonnecker was there for all the hoopla as fans watched the announcement on the big screen.
In a state where basketball is a religion,
with the first pick in the 2024 WNBA draft,
Indiana Fever fans went to church Monday night, and their prayers were answered.
the Indiana Fever select Caitlin Clark.
The Indiana Fever selecting Caitlin Clark as their #1 draft pick.
She's such a powerhouse in the talent that she brings, the energy, and all of the range that she has.
I'm so excited that she's coming to Indiana. I think it's going to be great for the whole fan base.
Speaking of fan base, young women, many of them basketball players themselves, came out to see a woman they look up to take the next step in her basketball career.
Caitlin Clark's always been a mentor to me because she's been really good at basketball, and I want to be like her when I'm older.
She's just a great shooter overall, great player. She's a team player. I love that about her. She has amazing handles. She's just a great player overall.
Women's college sports, women's sports in general, have never gotten the recognition that I feel they deserve, and Caitlin is bringing that, and she does it with class and dignity.
And these fans say they can't wait to tell Caitlin Clark, welcome home to Indiana.
But I think once she gets here, she'll see the love that we, the support and the love that we have.
Love that for many here started long before tonight.
Clark will make her debut with the Fever on May 3rd in preseason WNBA action. By the way, Indiana takes on the Minnesota Lynx on July 14th at Target Center. Musical artists Ludacris and T-Pain will perform at this year's Great Minnesota Get Together. They are set to both perform at the Grandstand Concert Series on Tuesday, August 27th. Ludacris, a rapper, has sold more than 24 million albums worldwide with singles like Stand Up, Get Back, and Moneymaker. T-Pain is a Grammy Award-winning artist known for hits like Buy You a Drink and 5 O'Clock. Tickets go on sale 10 a.m. this coming Friday. Still ahead for you here tonight on your News at 5. What your tongue can say about your health, the telltale signs of a potential problem. And later, the journey to a jury, some progress made in day 2 of Donald Trump's hush money criminal trial. A live update from New York. And in your first alert weather forecast, plenty of that falling across northeast Iowa and southeast Minnesota. Definitely need the rain. We could do without any severe weather. Is the threat over? Nick will tell us after the break.
The weather, it's something that
You know to check your skin for cancer, do self-exams, and monitor things like heart rate, blood sugar, or blood pressure. But did you know that keeping an eye on your tongue can help you detect potential health problems? In tonight's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither explains what your tongue can tell you about your health.
It's a muscular organ that helps you swallow, suck, and speak, but your tongue can also reveal telltale signs of health problems.
It's part of our observable areas that we can monitor for changes.
Dr. Gabriel Gavrilescu with Cleveland Clinic, Florida says monitoring your tongue is a simple way to spot potential issues. It can be quickly done while brushing teeth.
To make sure we notice changes, and if we do notice, to see what they signify.
Significant changes may signify a problem. A whitish tongue can indicate a fungal infection, an inflammatory condition, or a potentially precancerous condition. A yellowish or greenish color tongue is usually due to poor oral hygiene and can come from smoking, chewing tobacco, being dehydrated, or taking certain vitamins. An orangish tongue is also commonly caused by poor oral hygiene or dry mouth, certain antibiotics, and some foods like carrots. A bright red tongue may indicate food or medication allergies or a vitamin B deficiency. A gray hue may indicate eczema, according to a 2017 study, and a black tongue can mean there's a keratin buildup, which can lead to a thickening of skin. If you have a blue tongue, it may indicate a lack of oxygen in your blood, and a doctor should be called right away.
We have to be mindful about what we put in our body.
Gavrilescu says maintaining a healthy tongue color means eating a balanced diet, not using tobacco products, drinking plenty of water, and visiting a dentist regularly. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
I have a feeling a lot of you will be going to a mirror to look at your tongue after this report. Experts say you should always brush your teeth at least twice a day, floss every day, and do daily tongue cleanings with a toothbrush or a scraper. If you do notice tongue discoloration, the Cleveland Clinic says that the underlying condition that caused it will need to be treated. The health system says no matter what color the tongue, a doctor can help determine the cause and come up with a plan to treat it. Childhood emergency room visits are on the rise due to kids accidentally taking melatonin. Makers of melatonin supplements are now being asked to tighten standards by a leading trade group for dietary supplements. The Council for Responsible Nutrition is giving those producers 18 to 24 months to voluntarily add child deterrent packaging and improve cautionary language on labels of the over-the-counter products. Melatonin regulates the body's natural sleep cycle, but as a dietary supplement, it is not federally regulated. According to the CDC, 11,000 children had ER visits between 2019 and 2022 after ingesting melatonin. Gummies were involved in nearly 5,000 of those cases. A brand of gluten-free mini bagels are being recalled because they may contain gluten. Feel Good Foods has issued a nationwide voluntary recall due to cross-contamination. The affected products include gluten-free plain and everything flavored cream cheese stuffed mini bagels. They are found in the frozen section of stores in this yellow box like that one that you just saw, or the white and the blue box like this one showing photos of mini bagels. According to the FDA, both products have best buy dates from 5/29 of 24 to 9/17 of 25 that are listed on the bottom of those boxes.
Here's your first alert weather with Chief Meteorologist Nick Jansen.
The radar was very colorful this afternoon, still is, but the threat of severe weather looks to be diminishing a little bit.
Yeah, it was pretty low to begin with for those of us in southern Minnesota. We were kind of concerned in northern Iowa earlier on today with these storms that moved through, I'd say about an hour ago or so. We still have a tornado watch in effect from the National Weather Service for areas right along Highway 18. Now, different timing on all of these watches. Right here, it says until until 7 p.m. That is for Winnebago-Hancock counties. Then Cerro County, that watch only in effect until 6 o'clock tonight. As we look at Floyd and then Chickasaw and Fayette counties, that in effect until 8 p.m. tonight. So really just through, I'd say, about sunset tonight will be the best chance for any type of storms producing, getting anywhere close to severe weather criteria. We do have a cell that's pretty strong at this point in time. Just one cell right through Freeborn County. A lot of lightning, a lot of thunder. We did get a report of a tree getting struck by lightning with some of those branches falling down. So that was in Albert Lee and Freeborn County. Other than that, a lot of lightning off to the east of the Mississippi River. We have some lightning and some thunder in eastern Houston County. Nothing severe. At the top of the broadcast, I mentioned those cells that were close to the low pressure system that causes some spin-ups with some of these cells. We have that currently just north of Algona. So we'll see what happens with that cell. We'll keep an eye on that one in Freeborn County here. For the time being, no warnings to discuss for most of our viewing area. Where a lot of I'd say the stronger storms are at now into southwestern Wisconsin and getting into eastern Iowa. We have a couple tornado warnings there and severe thunderstorm warnings starting to approach Davenport, Iowa. So most of that, again, will stay well down to our south and southeast. The primary severe weather threat through the rest of the evening will be in the warm sector. So that is south of this warm front. That cold front continues to race to the east. And our severe threat is fairly low in southern Minnesota for the rest of the night tonight. Don't forget to download that free First Alert weather app. All you have to do is scan that QR code right there. A great time to do this, even though maybe we're not tracking severe weather for southern Minnesota. We are starting to enter severe weather season, right? So you can get instant notifications there of severe weather, whether that's watches or warnings, or even if you want to prepare for next winter, right? We have updates on our app all the time, so you can just scan that QR code right there. It'll take you right to the Google Play Store or the Apple Play Store, whichever, if you have iOS or Android. Future track here tonight. So showers and thunderstorms continue to move off to the east here, handling everything fairly well, I think, at this point in time. Some scattered showers, a couple rumbles of thunder continue. I think our severe threat's pretty much over with by 7, 8 o'clock here tonight. A couple straight isolated showers and thunderstorms into early Wednesday morning. We do end up clearing skies out. It'll be late in the day tomorrow. High temperatures into the low 50s, and then finally maybe some sunshine by about sunset coming up tomorrow evening. So by dinner time tomorrow, 6 to 7 o'clock, finally see some sunshine. Rainfall abounds here. We'll have to check and see what RST is. I know earlier this afternoon, just a couple tenths of an inch of rain. By about, I'd say this is through Thursday, we could see anywhere from, again, about an inch to maybe 2 inches of rainfall from this round, another round tomorrow morning, and then we'll have some isolated showers on the way by Thursday. 49 for the low here tonight. Some scattered storms possible throughout mainly the early evening hours before about midnight, and then just some spotty showers tomorrow morning. We're looking at wind tonight, 35 miles per hour. Tomorrow, 52 for the high. Hopefully some sunshine by, say, maybe 5, 6 o'clock. Some wind gusts tomorrow strong again. Gusts may be approaching 40 miles per hour. 7-day forecast, a couple stray showers early Wednesday morning. Isolated shower chance again Thursday morning. And then cooler temperatures settle in. It'll feel a little cold. 46 for the high Friday. We're dropping lows down to 30 and 29. So Saturday, just 47, 29 for the low. We warm back up on Sunday. Some sunshine, 56, and into the upper 50s and low 60s by Monday and Tuesday.
Quite a change this weekend compared to what we just are coming off of.
Yeah, it's 70s, 80s. Our first 80-degree day was this past weekend, and now all of a sudden we're talking 40s. So close to a 30, 35-degree swing from last weekend to this weekend.
We're used to it, though, right?
We are.
Thanks, Nick. Caitlin?
Well, coming up tonight at 6, a second family has now filed a lawsuit against a man after he crashed a hayride carrying middle school students in Keokuk, Iowa in October. Their allegations against the driver when we see you tonight. Brock will be right back.
Today marked the second day of the historic criminal trial of former President Donald Trump. We bring in KTTC senior national correspondent Peter Zampa as jury selection continues in New York on the second day here, Peter. So what did we learn today?
Brock, we learned quite a bit, actually, especially compared to yesterday when things were a bit slow going, trying to get this jury selected. Today, by the end of the day, they pushed past 5 p.m. to impanel 7 jurors, which means we only have 11 more to go to get to that. Anything happens. But as far as inside the courtroom, a few active incidents. We know that the judge criticized Donald Trump for what he said was maybe juror intimidation at one point, muttering and gesturing too close to one of the potential jurors. We know social media posts were dredged up from a number of them, some of them excused because they appeared to be too critical of Donald Trump, showing that it would be difficult for them to be impartial. But at the end of the day, again, we got to that 7 juror number. We're off tomorrow. Starting Thursday, we'll continue this jury selection process with an entire new pool coming into the courtroom, but they're well on their way to getting to that 18 number potentially by the end of this week.
Peter, of course, from the get-go here, we've heard the former president say that this is all politically motivated. What have we been hearing from Donald Trump on day 2 here of the trial?
Yeah, he continued to bash this entire trial and the entire process, saying these charges should never be brought. No one in history, he claims, would ever be facing these kinds of charges. He continued to call these legal expenses that an accountant wrote down, and that he should never face an indictment because of that. He also went on to lament the fact that this is his campaign trail for the next, what could be 2 months. Instead of being in these battleground states that could be crucial to him winning back the White House, he is in New York City, a place that has no real effect on this upcoming election because it is safely in Democratic hands. Donald Trump wants to be out on the campaign trail, and he's clearly upset that he has to be here for the next couple of months.
Continuing coverage for us here tonight out of New York City, KTTC senior national correspondent Peter Zampa. As always, Peter, thanks so much. We're back after this. You're looking live into the control room at NBC Nightly News, where coming up in a little over a minute now, they're going to be taking a look with an exclusive interview with a Boeing whistleblower about what he says is a fatal flaw in one of the company's planes. And amid rising consumer complaints, is the government trying to foster more competition in concert ticketing business? That's ahead on Nightly News.
In other news, it's time to celebrate one of the world's most diverse and widespread family of flowering plants. Today is National Orchid Day. Did you know that?
I did not, but
Me
now we do. The often colorful and fragrant blooms of orchids grow in abundance all around the world. Did you know, Nick, orchids is one of the largest families of flowering plants with up to 26,000 species.
Wow.
They can also live longer than a century. What may be the world's largest orchid lives in the Singapore Botanic Gardens, believed to be more than 150 years old. 150 years old for a flower. I'm lucky if I can keep them alive through one growing season. Hey, real quickly, kangaroos. Yesterday, you asked me how tall they might get on average after a big one was found. 3 to 4 feet.
Oh, wow, it's almost double the size.
Yeah.
They were 6 foot.
That's what we call follow through.
There
You're
you go.
welcome.
I like it.
Thanks for being with us.
Hey, another check of your weather coming up tonight at 6. Have a good night.